Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Michelle Ferguson and I'm the crochet pattern designer of Two Brothers Blankets. Today I'm going to teach you how to crochet the tri-square crochet stitch. This is a stitch combo that uses front post and back post double crochet stitches and can be worked flat in rows or in the round. I use the tri-square stitch in three patterns that I have: the Enchanted Dreams Cape, the Enchanted Dreams Mini Slouch, and the Enchanted Dreams Cowl. I'll be sure to link all of those in the description. For this tutorial, I'm just using some paint box yarn, Simply DK, from my stash in this light purple color. And I've got an I 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. I'll be sure to link both of those in the description as well. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, to start off, I'm going to teach you how to work this stitch combo in rows. I've worked up this tiny little swatch here, and it just shows you what it would look like in rows. So we're going to go ahead and do that. First off, you're going to need to get that out of focus so that so the camera will focus on my yarn. We're going to, this stitch combo is worked in a multiple of 6. So for your starting chain, if you're working in rows, you're going to work a multiple of 6 plus 2 for that first row of double crochet. Now, grabbing this again, this one I worked a multiple of 6 plus 2 plus 2. So what I did was I chained 22. So we got 20 stitches in our first row. And the reason I did that is because I wanted a double crochet stitch standalone on the edges of my work. I didn't want to do a post stitch on that first stitch of each edge, the first and last stitch. So I worked it so that there is a double crochet stitch, and then I work my post stitches, and then there's a double crochet stitch in the last, and that just gives it a nicer, flatter edge. You don't have to do it that way. If you're not going to do it that way, you can do a multiple of 6 plus 2. If you do want the double crochets on the side, one double crochet on each side of each row, you need to do 6 plus 2 plus 2. So I'm going to chain 22 so that I have those double crochets on the edges. All right, I've chained 22. I like to turn my chain and work into the back bump of the chains. So I'm going to do a double crochet in the third chain from my hook. So I've got my first chain attached, second, third. I'm going to work into that chain and do one double crochet and then one double crochet in each chain across. And I should have 20 double crochet when I get to the end. Those starting chains at the beginning right here do not count as a stitch. All right, I have 20 double crochet. That is the end of row 1. Now we are going to start row 2. For row 2, I am going to work a long chain for my turning chain. I have a video on this that I will link in the description if you want to find out more about it and how to do it. But I basically just pull up a loop the length of a double crochet and chain 1 and turn. Then I'm going to work 1 double crochet into the first stitch. Then I'm going to do 1 front post double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. So I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to insert my hook behind the entire stitch, yarn over, pull through. I have 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. 1 front post double crochet. I'm going to do it again. Yarn over, insert my hook behind the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through 2. One more. Yarn over, insert hook behind the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops on my hook, and yarn over, pull through 2. So I've done 3 front post double crochets. Now for the next 3, I'm going to do 1 back post double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, or around each of the next 3 stitches is technically the right term. So yarn over, I'm going to move my yarn kind of backwards, and I'm going to insert my hook behind the stitch so it's in front of the stitch on the right side, or on that side, the side we're working. So it's going, let me show you again, yarn over, I'm putting it in front of the entire stitch instead of behind the stitch. Then I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop just like before. 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2. Let's do that again. Yarn over, insert hook in front of the stitch. I always just tend to like turn it. That's why it looks like it's behind. But if you're looking from the side you're working, it's in front of. Yarn over, pull through. We have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. One more, yarn over, insert hook in front of the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Here's what I have. Now we are going to just repeat that sequence. We're going to do 3 front post doubles and then 3 back post doubles. Sorry, I'm getting my yarn situated here. Okay, so 3 front posts, and that's the repeat. 1 front post double crochet in each of the next 3, and then 1 back post double crochet in each of the next 3, around each of the next 3. I always say it wrong. And I'm going to repeat that to the end, to the last stitch, because we're going to work a double crochet in that last stitch. All right, I'm at my last stitch. I'm going to work 1 double crochet into the last stitch, just a regular double crochet. So that is row 2 of my tri-square stitch. Now we're going to do row 3. I'm going to do another long chain, turn my work, do 1 double crochet in the first. Now we're going to do the opposite. So we started with front post double crochet on this side. We're going to do back post double crochet to start this row. So we're going to do 1 back post double crochet around the next 3. You're just doing the opposite of what you did for row 2. All right. Now we're going to do 1 front post double crochet around the next 3, each of the next 3. And then 1 back post, and then you're repeating 1 back post around each of the next 3, 1 front post around each of the next 3, front post double crochet, all the way to the last stitch. So we're ending our last 4 stitches are going to be 1 front post double crochet around each of the next 3, and then 1 double crochet in the last. And you're working in the loops of that double crochet, that last double crochet. So this is row 3 completed. Now for the rest of the swatch or pattern or whatever you're working on, you are just going to repeat rows 2 and 3. So you're alternating what you're starting with. You're alternating your repeat basically. So for rows 4, we're doing a repeat of row 2. We're going to do a long chain and turn, 1 double crochet in the first, and now we're starting with front post double crochet again. So 1 front post in each of the first 3, 1 back post double crochet in each of the next 3, And repeat that. And you will just continue to repeat rows 2 and 3 for as long as you desire, or however long the pattern tells you to, or whatever you're making, for whatever you're making. And then for row 5, it's a repeat of row 3. So chain 1, turn, double crochet in the first, and then we're going to do back post. Start with back post. So 1 back post around each of the first 3 back post double crochet. Whoops. And then front post and repeat across. And that's all there is to it. So as you can see here, we're just repeating rows 2 and 3, and it gives it that, I don't know, block look. I don't know what you would consider this. It's kind of looks like a basket weave, but it's a little bit smaller and a little bit different than the basket weave stitch, but it kind of has that effect, a smaller looking basket weave effect. And you can end on any repeat. So you can end on a repeat of row 2 or 3. It doesn't matter. And you could, I just fastened off, you could do another row of double crochet all the way across, or you can go into different stitches. It's totally personal preference. It doesn't matter which repeat you end on, unless of course you need it for a specific right side, wrong side, whatever your pattern says or whatever you're making. So that's all you do. Rows 2 and 3 is a repeat, and you just work that until your desired length. So now let's get into how to do it in the round. All right, to work in this stitch in the round, I am going to just make my Enchanted Dreams cowl pattern. It's a great example of working it in the round, so we're gonna make that, or we're gonna at least start it. So I'm using this We Crochet Mighty Stitch worsted weight yarn in the colorway Chocolate Heather, one of my favorite yarns from We Crochet. I'll link it in the description. And we're gonna get started with that cowl. So when working this stitch combo in the round, you're going to be doing a multiple of 6. You do not have to add the +2. You can chain a multiple of 6, join your chain with a slip stitch, and work your round 1 of double crochet. I don't love to do that, even though that's what my pattern says to do. I always tend to get my chain twisted when I join my chain, my starting chain. So I'm going to show you what I do instead, so that if you want to try it, you can. If not, chain a multiple of 6. In this case, for the cowl, it's a chain of 96, and then you will join your last chain to your first chain with a slip stitch and begin your rounds. Otherwise, follow along. Okay, so what I have done is chained my 6 plus 2, my multiple of 6 plus 2, and worked round 1 as a row. So I did just like we did in the first demonstration, the rows. I did 1 double crochet in the 3rd chain from my hook and across. So I have 96 double crochet. I've basically completed round 1 already. So I did 6 plus 2, so I chained 98. So what I'm going to do now to create the round is I'm going to take my double crochets. I'm going to make sure everything's straight and all in the right direction. And I'm going to join them at the double crochet stitch, my last double crochet stitch to my first double crochet stitch with a slip stitch. And that, I find, is so much easier than trying to do the chain and then do it. So you do have this little gap here, but what I'll do is I'll take this end once I'm done, and when I'm weaving in my ends, and I will weave that in, and it will connect it, and no issues. So that is just a little hack that I have that I prefer to do. I don't always write it in my patterns that way because I've done that before and people get super confused. and make it into something bigger than it is. So we are just going to, figured I'd show you. Totally up to you how you do it. So I've completed round 1, which is just double crochets. Now let me pull my yarn in, or my camera in, my zoom. Now we're ready to do our rounds of front posts and back posts. So I am going to do a long chain, and I am not going to turn. I am going to do my 1 front post double crochet around the first stitch, and then I'm going to do it around the next 2. And then I'm going to do 1 back post double crochet around each of the next 3. And I am going to repeat that sequence all the way around to the end of my round and join with a slip stitch. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll meet you at the end of this round. All right, I have completed round 2, and I haven't joined yet. I wanted to point out, make sure sometimes I want us to do this when you're first starting out, if you do it like I did. So make sure you're at the top of your stitches, and then you're going to join to the first stitch, not the starting chain, with a slip stitch. So that is the beginning of round 2. All right, for round 3, we are also not going to do any turning. So we're going to do a long chain, chain 1, but we're going to do the opposite of what we did for round 2, just like we did when we worked in rows. So we're going to start with 1 back post double crochet in the first 3, around the first 3 stitches. And then 1 front post double crochet around the next 3. And we're going to continue to repeat that. So the difference with the round is we are not turning. We're just working the opposite for each row. We're alternating. And you're going to continue that for the whole thing. Just like before, we're going to repeat rounds 2 and 3 until we get to wherever we want to get to, however big we want it to be. So I'm going to continue working. I'm going to repeat rounds 2 and 3, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like at the end. Okay, I have completed my Enchanted Dreams cowl. As you can see, it has a beautiful texture. This tri-square stitch in the round. That's a little bit of a tongue twister. I have it here on the back. I wanted to show you how cool this is. So right here, I don't know if you can even tell, is where my seam was. This is where that gap was when I first started. And I've weaved in my ends. I just weaved it across to the other side, and you can barely tell. Another notable thing is I did not turn at all during this, the making of this cowl. And I used a long chain for my starting chain instead of like a chain 2. And you can hardly see a seam right here at all. I mean, you can see maybe a little bit of the long chain, but there is hardly a seam at all. It looks very nice. This would be the back side. I would put this for the back anyway, but even if it wasn't, you can hardly see any seam. Can't see a gap here anymore. So don't freak out. Don't worry about that gap. You can weave it in and it won't even show at all. So I just love that method. It's so much easier. But yeah, this is the tri-square stitch in the round. It is beautiful. I absolutely love the texture. If you have any questions about this tutorial or the stitch, please leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I hope you'll give this video a thumbs up if you like what you see and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.